The massive exploration ship hung silently in the darkness of space. Its sleek metal body reflected the light of a distant yellow star. On the bridge of the ship, Captain John Miller looked down at the blue planet through the large viewing screen. His eyes showed a mix of wonder and worry. "Another life-bearing world," he said quietly. "The third we found this cycle." Lisa Wright, his first officer, stood beside him. She adjusted the scanner controls on her panel, zooming in on the planet's surface. The screen showed green lands, blue oceans, and white clouds swirling in the atmosphere. "But this one is different," Lisa said. "Look at their development rate. They've gone from basic radio to digital communication in less than a century. They've already sent primitive probes beyond their own moon." John nodded. "The Council will want a full report." The Galactic Council had explored thousands of worlds over countless years. They had a set way of dealing with new species: watch, study, and when the time was right, welcome them to the galactic community. But something about Earth made John uneasy. "Send our findings to the Council," he ordered. "I want to know what the Elders think about this world." Lisa tapped at her screen. The data package containing everything they had learned about Earth in the past month sped across space toward the Council's central world. Now they would wait. 3 days later, the reply came. The bridge crew gathered around as John opened the message. His face grew pale as he read. "This can't be right," he muttered. "What is it, Captain?" Lisa asked. John read aloud. "Exploration Vessel 7293. You are to establish a hidden observation post near Earth. You will not make contact. You will not interfere. You will report all findings directly to the Elder Council. The humans are unpredictable. Approach with caution. Never challenge their authority." The bridge fell silent. In all his years of service, John had never received such strange orders. New species were typically guided, helped, or at worst, contained if they proved dangerous. But fear? The Elders seemed afraid. Dr. Alan Garcia, the ship's expert on alien cultures, spoke first. "Captain, this makes no sense. I've studied the humans for weeks. Yes, they fight wars, but they also create art. They harm their planet, but they're learning to protect it. They're just like any young species trying to find their way." John shook his head. "These orders come directly from Elder Zox. We follow them without question." Later that night, Alan sat alone in his quarters, reviewing video feeds from Earth. He watched children playing in a park, scientists working in a lab, farmers tending crops, and artists painting. What could the Elders possibly fear from these people? He pulled up the oldest records in the ship's database, searching for any mention of humans or Earth. There was nothing before 50 years ago. It was as if the Council had deliberately avoided this region of space until recently. "Computer," Alan said, "search for any species that caused the Elders to issue similar warnings." After a moment, the computer responded, "No similar warnings found in accessible records." Alan leaned back in his chair. The humans were unique in the galaxy, at least in how the Elders reacted to them. And that made them worth understanding. The next morning, as the ship moved to establish its hidden base on one of Earth's moons, Alan made a decision. He would study the humans more closely than any species before, not just because of the Council's orders, but because of the fear behind those orders. Something about humanity had scared the most powerful beings in the galaxy, and Alan was determined to find out what. 50 years passed. The Council's hidden bases spread throughout the solar system. Small stations orbited each planet, disguised as asteroids or space debris. The largest base sat on the dark side of Earth's moon, buried deep beneath the gray dust. Inside this lunar base, Lisa Wright, now a commander, studied the latest reports from Earth. She had chosen to stay and watch humanity's progress, while Captain Miller had long since returned to Council space. The screens around her showed images of human cities, growing larger and brighter each year. "Their technology is advancing faster than our models predicted," she said to the room of analysts. They've cured diseases that plagued them for centuries. Their computers double in power every 2 years. A young analyst raised his hand. Commander, they're starting to detect our communications. Their deep space listening stations are becoming more sensitive. Lisa nodded. This wasn't unexpected. Increase encryption and reduce transmission power. We can't risk detection. Not yet. On Earth, at NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Station in the desert, Susan Carter removed her headphones and rubbed her tired eyes. For 3 nights straight, she had tracked strange signals coming from beyond Pluto's orbit. They weren't random space noise. They had patterns, structure. "Hey, Rick," she called to her colleague across the room. "Come listen to this." Rick Boyd walked over and put on the spare headphones. His eyes widened as he heard the faint, rhythmic pulses. "That's not natural," he said. "And it's not one of ours." Susan shook her head. "I've checked against every satellite and probe we've ever launched. This is something else." Rick looked nervous. "Should we tell someone?" "I already sent the recordings to headquarters," Susan replied. "They're sending a specialist team tomorrow." Meanwhile, across the galaxy on the Council's capital world, Elder Zox sat in his private chamber. The ancient being's skin was pale blue and wrinkled with age. His 6-fingered hands rested on the arms of his chair as he viewed reports from Earth. A soft chime announced a visitor. "Enter," Zox said. Commander Patricia Rogers walked in and bowed. As head of the Earth Monitoring Division, she reported directly to the elders. "You requested my presence, Elder." Zox gestured to the screens showing Earth's rapid advancement. "The humans are progressing too quickly. Look at their achievements in the last decade alone. Quantum computing, fusion energy trials, gene therapy." Patricia nodded. "They are resourceful." "They are dangerous," Zox corrected. "At their current rate, they will achieve faster than light travel within 30 years. We cannot allow that to happen." Patricia looked surprised. The Council's policy has always been to welcome new species once they reach that milestone. Zox's eyes narrowed. "Humanity is different. You've studied their history, their potential for violence, their drive to expand. Their potential is concerning." "What would you have us do?" Patricia asked. "The Council will debate intervention options," Zox said. "Be prepared to act quickly once a decision is made." After Commander Rogers left, Zox activated a hidden communication panel. The face of another elder appeared, one even older than Zox. "The humans are advancing faster than we feared," Zox said. The other elder nodded slowly. "The ancient records warned us of their potential. If they truly are the descendants." "We cannot take that risk," Zox interrupted. "If they remember who they once were, everything we've built will crumble." Back on the moon base, Lisa reviewed Susan Carter's signal detection. The human had found traces of their communications. It was happening sooner than expected. "We're running out of time," Lisa whispered to herself. "They're waking up." In her small apartment on Earth, Susan stared at the night sky through her window. Somewhere out there, someone or something was watching. And for reasons she couldn't explain, that thought filled her with both fear and a strange sense of familiarity. The Great Council chamber was filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds. They sat in rising circles around a central platform where Elder Zox stood. His voice carried throughout the vast room as he spoke about Earth. "For 50 years we have watched the humans," Zox said. "They have shown remarkable progress, but also concerning traits. Their history is filled with war. They consume resources at an alarming rate, and they question everything." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Most species in the Council evolved through cooperation. Humans seem to advance through conflict and competition. "We must decide now how to handle this potential threat," Zox continued. "If left unchecked, humans could reach our level of technology within a single generation." A tall, thin representative stood up. "Why not simply make contact? Bring them into the Council as we've done with other species." Zox shook his head. "The humans are not ready. They are divided among themselves. They would bring their conflicts to the stars. Dr. Daniel Harrison sat in his office at the CDC, staring at his computer screen with confusion. For 3 days, he had been receiving strange data packets mixed in with his normal research files. At first, he thought it was a computer virus or a prank from another scientist. Now he wasn't so sure. "This can't be right," he mumbled as he scrolled through the latest file. The data showed a complex molecular structure unlike anything he had seen before. Notes in broken English described it as a respiratory pathogen designed for rapid transmission among humans. Most disturbing were the repeated warnings. "Coming soon. Prepare." Daniel picked up his phone and called his colleague, Dr. Mary Jackson. "Mary, can you come to my office? I need to show you something." 10 minutes later, Mary stood behind Daniel, looking at his screen with wide eyes. "Where did you get this?" she asked. "That's the strange part," Daniel replied. "It's coming embedded in signals from deep space. NASA confirmed it's not from any known satellite or space station." Mary pointed at a section of the molecular diagram. "This part here, it's brilliant design. It targets the ACE2 receptors, but in a way I've never seen before. If this is real, it would spread faster than any natural virus." "If it's real," Daniel repeated. "Mary, who would send us plans for a virus that doesn't exist yet? And why?" As they spoke, another data packet arrived. This one contained something new. Technical specifications for advanced medical equipment, far beyond current Earth technology. "It's like someone's giving us both the problem and the solution," Mary whispered. Millions of miles away, William Peters was being escorted by guards to Elder Zox's private chamber. His unauthorized transmission had been detected almost immediately. Now he would face the consequences of his actions. The chamber doors slid open, revealing Elder Zox standing by a large window that overlooked the vast council city. "William Peters," Zox said without turning. "Do you understand what you have done?" William stood straight. "I have prevented an injustice, Elder." Zox turned, his ancient eyes narrowed. "You have violated our prime directive regarding humans. They must never be defied. Do you understand what you've done?" "I understand that the Council is acting out of fear, not wisdom," William replied. "Harming a developing species goes against everything the Council claims to stand for." "You know nothing," Zox hissed. "The humans are not what you think. They are a danger to the galaxy." "They are artists and explorers," William countered. "They are flawed, yes, but worthy of the same chance every other species receives." Zox approached slowly. "The pathogen will be deployed regardless of your warning. Your treason has gained the humans nothing and cost you everything." "At least they will have a fighting chance," William said. Back on Earth, Daniel and Mary had brought their findings to government officials. At first, they were dismissed as having fallen for an elaborate hoax. But when similar signals were detected by research centers in other countries, people began to take notice. An emergency meeting of world leaders was called. For the first time in history, nations shared their secret space observation data. Multiple countries had detected unusual objects in Earth's orbit. Russia and China admitted to tracking an unknown base on the far side of the moon. "We are not alone," the Secretary General told the assembled leaders, "and we may be under threat." In his lab, Daniel worked day and night analyzing the alien pathogen data. Teams of scientists around the world joined the effort. "If they can design this," Daniel told Mary as they examined a simulation of the virus, "we can design a countermeasure." Mary nodded. "And if we can understand their medical technology, maybe we can build it." Outside, military forces around the world went on high alert. Space agencies redirected telescopes and sensors to scan for more alien presence. Humanity had been warned, and now they were preparing. William Peters sat in his cell aboard the council station. The room was small but clean, with a simple bed and washing area. He had been there for 2 weeks, since his meeting with Elder Zox. His trial would begin soon, though the outcome seemed certain. No one had ever defied the elders and avoided punishment. A guard appeared at his door. "The council requests your presence." William followed the guard through long hallways to a small chamber where 3 elders waited, including Zox. Their faces showed no emotion as William entered. "The pathogen has been deployed to Earth," Elder Zox announced. "You will witness the results of your failed warning." A large screen appeared on the wall, showing Earth from orbit. Small, almost invisible pods were entering the atmosphere, designed to release the virus once they reached the proper altitude. William watched with a heavy heart. He had hoped his warning would give humans enough time. Now he could only pray they had used that time wisely. On Earth, Dr. Daniel Harrison stood in the newly built Global Defense Center. Around him, scientists from 27 countries worked at stations monitoring the atmosphere. Large screens showed data from satellites and ground sensors. "We're detecting multiple objects entering the atmosphere," called out a technician. They matched the specifications from the warning message. Daniel nodded. "Alert all response teams. Begin countermeasure deployment." For weeks, countries around the world had been preparing. Using the alien information, they had developed special filters for air handling systems in major cities. Millions of doses of a preventative medication had been produced and distributed. Most importantly, they had created atmospheric drones equipped with a neutralizing agent. "Launch the drones," ordered General Laura Martinez, who stood beside Daniel. "All countries, deploy now." Across the planet, thousands of small drones rose into the sky. They had been positioned to intercept the alien pods based on projected entry points. Back in the council chamber, William watched in surprise as small objects rose from Earth's surface to meet the descending pods. "What is happening?" Elder Zox demanded, leaning forward. They were not supposed to detect the pods. The screen showed the drones reaching the pods. Each drone released a cloud of particles that surrounded and neutralized the alien devices before they could open. "Impossible," whispered an elder. They could not have prepared so quickly. William felt a surge of hope. "You underestimated them." On Earth, the defense teams tracked each pod. Some broke through the drone network, but ground-based systems were ready. Air filtration systems activated. Medical teams stood by. As the pathogen began to spread, the response was immediate. In his lab, Daniel received the first samples of the alien virus. As predicted, it was unlike anything seen on Earth before. But thanks to the warning, they had already created test vaccines and treatments. "It's working," Mary told Daniel as they reviewed the initial data. "Infection rates are far below what would be expected for something this contagious. The countermeasures are holding." Around the world, what should have been a devastating pandemic became a manageable outbreak. Some people got sick, but the prepared medical systems handled the cases effectively. In the council chamber, Elder Zox stared at the screen in disbelief. The humans had not only detected the attack, but had mounted an effective defense. A junior officer entered with a new report. "Elder, the humans are doing more than defending," the officer said nervously. "They are studying the pathogen and our pods. They are learning from our technology." Zox turned to William, anger in his ancient eyes. "You have doomed us all. The humans were quarantined for a reason." "What reason?" William demanded. "What are you so afraid of?" Elder Zox looked back at the screen where a human researcher was examining a captured pod. "They are remembering," he whispered, "and soon they will return to the stars." William didn't understand what Zox meant, but one thing was clear. Humanity had just passed a test they were never meant to survive. In the vast library of the Council's central world, a young researcher named Kevin Bishop searched through ancient records. Unlike most members of his species, Kevin had always been fascinated by history. Now, after hearing rumors about the failed attack on Earth, he was looking for answers. The library was mostly empty. Few council members cared about the past. They focused on the present and future. This gave Kevin the privacy he needed as he accessed restricted archives. "There has to be something here," he muttered, scrolling through files that hadn't been opened in centuries. Kevin had been searching for 3 days when he found it. a damaged file buried deep in the system. Parts were missing, but what remained told a shocking story. Millions of years ago, before the Council existed, another power had ruled the galaxy. The descriptions of these beings matched humans in every detail. "This can't be right," Kevin whispered. According to the fragments, these human-like beings had built the first interstellar civilization. They had helped other species develop and join them among the stars. They created a peaceful society that lasted thousands of years. Then came a betrayal. A group of their student species rose against them. A terrible war followed. The humans were defeated, their colonies destroyed. The survivors were sent to a single planet, Earth, with their memories and technology taken from them. They're not a new species, Kevin realized. They're an ancient one. Meanwhile, on Earth, scientists studied the alien pods and virus with growing excitement. Each discovery led to new breakthroughs in medicine, materials science, and energy technology. In a secure lab beneath Washington, D.C., Dr. Daniel Harrison examined a strange crystal found inside one of the pods. When activated, it projected a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Certain stars were marked with symbols. "We need to translate these markings," Daniel told Mary as they studied the map. "They could be important locations." Mary pointed to one symbol that appeared repeatedly. "This one shows up at every major junction point. It could be their central world." As they worked, a technician brought them new results from the genetic tests they had been running. Daniel read the report with growing amazement. "Mary, look at this," he said, handing her the papers. "The analysis of the alien virus shows something incredible. Parts of its genetic code contain markers identical to human DNA. Not similar, identical." Mary frowned. "That's impossible unless they designed it specifically for humans," Daniel finished. "But there's more. These markers aren't just in the virus. They're in us. Every human on Earth carries these same genetic markers." In space, aboard the Council station, William Peters awaited his execution. His trial had been quick and the verdict expected. He had betrayed the Council to help humans. The punishment was death. As he sat on his bed, the door to his cell opened. Elder Zox entered alone, which was unusual. Elders never visited prisoners. "Why are you here?" William asked. Zox looked tired, older than before. "I wanted to understand why you did it, why you risked everything for humans." William thought for a moment. "Because it was right. The Council exists to help species grow, not hold them back out of fear." "Fear," Zox repeated quietly. "Yes, there is fear, but not for the reasons you think." He handed William a small data device. "Before you die, you should know the truth." William activated the device. It showed ancient images of a vast human fleet, of planets burning, of battles across the stars. Then came scenes of peace, humans working alongside other species, building great cities, exploring the galaxy together. "I don't understand," William said. "You weren't helping them," Zox said quietly. "You were helping them remember who they once were, and what was taken from them." 1 year after the failed pathogen attack, Earth had changed. Nations once at odds now worked together. The alien technology from the pods had led to incredible advances. Clean energy replaced fossil fuels. New medicines cured diseases thought incurable. And in a secret facility beneath the Nevada desert, the first true interstellar engine was being built. Captain Olivia Rodriguez walked through the massive hangar where the ship took shape. Engineers and scientists from 30 countries worked side by side, their faces showing both pride and purpose. The vessel was nearly complete, sleek, powerful, and unlike anything humans had built before. "How soon can we launch?" Olivia asked the chief engineer. 2 weeks, he replied. "We've solved the final issues with the drive system. She's ready to fly." The ship had been named U.S. Defiance, a reminder of humanity's response to the alien attack. Its mission was simple but bold: travel to the stars and find those who had tried to harm Earth. Olivia had been chosen to command this mission because of her background in both military strategy and diplomacy. She would need both skills where they were going. In her office later that day, Olivia reviewed the star maps they had extracted from the alien pods. One location was marked more prominently than others, what they believed to be the Council's central world. "That's our destination," she told her crew during their final briefing. "We'll arrive unannounced and demand answers. Why did they attack us? What else should we know about them? And about ourselves?" The launch day arrived with little public fanfare. Only a small group knew the true purpose of the mission. To the world, it was announced as a test of new propulsion technology. The U.S. Defiance rose silently from its underground hangar and accelerated toward the edge of the solar system. Once past Jupiter, Olivia gave the order: "Activate the drive." The stars blurred around them as the ship jumped to speeds no human vessel had ever achieved. The journey that should have taken centuries would now take days. Meanwhile, in the council chamber, alarms sounded. Elder Zox and the other leaders gathered around the central display. "An unauthorized vessel has entered council space," an officer reported. "Its design is unknown, but its energy signature is unusual." "Origin?" Zox demanded. The officer looked up, his face pale. "Earth." Stunned silence filled the chamber. It had been only 1 year since their failed attempt to slow human progress. No species should have developed interstellar travel that quickly, even with captured council technology. "Impossible," whispered an elder. "Deploy the defense fleet," ordered Zox. "Surround the human vessel but do not fire unless attacked, and assemble the full council immediately." Throughout the central world, the news spread quickly. Humans had returned to space far sooner than anyone had predicted. Ancient fears resurfaced. Would they seek revenge for the attempted attack on their planet? The Council's defensive ships surrounded the U.S. Defiance as it approached the central world. Hundreds of vessels formed a barrier, weapons charged and ready. On the bridge of the Defiance, Olivia stood calmly as alien ships appeared on all sides. Her crew tensed, hands hovering over weapon controls. "Hold steady," she ordered. "They outnumber us. If they wanted to destroy us, they would have fired already." A communication request came through their systems. On the main screen appeared the face of Elder Zox, his ancient eyes studying Olivia with a mixture of fear and curiosity. "This is Elder Zox of the Galactic Council. You have entered restricted space. Identify yourselves." Olivia stepped forward. "I am Captain Olivia Rodriguez of Earth. We've come to discuss the terms of your surrender." Zox was silent for a moment, then laughed bitterly. "Humans, always so direct. You haven't changed in 50,000 years." Olivia frowned. "What do you mean by that?" Zox's expression grew serious. "Captain Rodriguez, there is much your people have forgotten. Perhaps it is time you remembered." Captain Olivia Rodriguez sat at a large round table in the council's meeting hall. Beside her were Dr. Daniel Harrison and 3 other crew members from the U.S. Defiance. Across from them sat Elder Zox and 4 other elders. The room was filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds, all watching in silence. William Peters stood nearby, no longer a prisoner but not entirely free. His actions had set these events in motion, and now he would witness their conclusion. "What you are about to learn will change how you see yourselves and the galaxy," Elder Zox began. 50,000 years ago, humans were not confined to Earth. Your kind ruled the stars. Images appeared above the table. Ancient cities on distant worlds, massive fleets of ships, and humans working alongside alien species. "You were the first to achieve faster-than-light travel," Zox continued. "You found other intelligent species, including our ancestors, and helped us reach the stars. You created what you called the Fellowship of Worlds, a peaceful alliance that lasted for millennia." Daniel leaned forward. "If that's true, what happened?" A shadow passed over Zox's face. "Pride happened. Ambition. Jealousy. Some of the species you helped, including our own, grew resentful of human leadership. We formed a secret alliance and attacked your worlds. The war was long and terrible. More images appeared, planets burning, great ships falling from the sky. We destroyed your colonies and fleets, Zox said. The few survivors were gathered and sent to Earth, your ancestral homeworld. Your memories were erased, your technology taken. We told ourselves it was mercy, not to kill you outright. And you've kept us imprisoned on Earth ever since, Olivia said, her voice tight with anger. Zox nodded. We built what we now call the Galactic Council on the ruins of your fellowship. We swore never to let humans return to space. For thousands of years, we watched Earth, waiting for signs that you might remember. That's why you tried to slow our progress, Daniel realized. You were afraid we'd remember who we were. Yes, Zox admitted. When William warned you of our attack, he unknowingly set in motion exactly what we feared. Your rapid advancement since then has confirmed our worst fears. The humans are returning to the stars. The hall fell silent. Olivia looked at her crew, then back at the elders. What happens now? Another war. An unexpected voice answered. William Peters stepped forward. It doesn't have to be that way. All eyes turned to him. Humans created the Fellowship of Worlds because they believed in cooperation, not domination. Is that not correct, Elder Zox? Zox reluctantly nodded. The human-led fellowship was indeed peaceful, more so than our council has often been. William turned to Olivia. Captain, you came here demanding surrender. But perhaps what's needed is neither surrender nor war, but reconciliation. Olivia considered this. We were wronged. Our history was stolen from us. Yes, William agreed. But revenge won't restore what was lost. Only cooperation will. In the days that followed, humans and council representatives met to forge a new path forward. Joseph Collins, Earth's chosen diplomat, proposed a return to the original name, the Fellowship of Worlds, and a shared leadership structure. To everyone's surprise, Elder Zox removed his ceremonial collar, the symbol of his authority, and placed it on the table before Joseph. We expected vengeance, Zox said. Joseph smiled. That's why you lost the first time. We didn't build a civilization on vengeance. We built it on cooperation. Now let's try again. As the new fellowship formed, researchers discovered more about humanity's past. Ancient knowledge was restored. Old wounds began to heal. Ships from Earth ventured to the stars again, not as conquerors, but as explorers. And on a distant world, a monument was built to honor William Peters, the one who defied the Elders' most important rule. The inscription read simply, "Sometimes defiance is the greatest wisdom." Humans had returned to the stars not with fire and fury, but with the same spirit that had built their first great civilization. Curiosity, courage, and the belief that together, all species could reach heights none could achieve alone.